Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to perform the very first lab of DP600 course, that is create a Microsoft Fabric Lakehouse. I have already launched my lab, so let's continue with the lab as per the instructions given on the right hand side within the lab interface. So here, as per the instructions, we need to sign in with the mentioned password in instruction number 2. So I need to just click on this password here, and this will auto type my password and hit enter. Now once you sign in into the student account, the next step is to create the Fabric account. So for that we need to open the Fabric portal. So for that, let's open the Edge browser and go to the provided URL in the very first step. Now once done, you will be prompted to enter the email. So mention the email ID which is given in the instructions in step number 2. And in the similar manner, mention the temporary access password, that is TAP, and sign in. If you are asked to verify the browser, complete the verification. Sometimes it skips the verification as well. Once done, select continue to get started with your account creation. Mention the job title given in instruction number 5 over here, that is IT. And similarly mention the phone number. And select get started. Now on the confirmation details page, click get started again. So you can see your environment is for the Fabric is ready. So you can simply close this, or if you want to take the tour, you can take the tour as well. So as of now, I'm closing it. So we are done with the very first pre-step of instructions provided. Now just have a look at my cursor where I'm going. So now we need to click on the next icon over here to move to the next set of instructions. Now when you click on the next button, you will see a new set of instructions provided to build your very first lakehouse and upload the files over there. So you can even go ahead and read the information about the lakehouse. What is a lakehouse and how does it work? If you're already aware of this, you can skip reading this theory part and you can move on to the workspace creation, the very first step. So now we are already into the Fabric home page. So you can see here your home is highlighted on the left hand side. So this is your Fabric home page. And now on the Fabric home page, you need to select workspaces on the left hand side. So this is on the left hand side you have the workspaces. So click over here and select new workspace to create a new workspace. Now give workspace a name of your choice. So let's say we give it a name as lab 1 workspace. If in case it's not available, you can use some other name as well, like this. And no need to select the workspace lessons, as by default the workspace lessons is auto selected for you under the fabric capacity. If in case it's not selected, you can wait for a couple of minutes, like 1 to 2 minutes, until it gets selected, and then you can click on apply. So here the workspace that we are creating, the work we are going to do within this workspace, it will be for temporary purpose. Every time you are going to launch your lab, you will be provided with the temporary credentials. So once you complete all the steps at the end of your lab, while finishing the lab, you need to go to the workspace settings and you need to delete your workspace once you are done with the lab demonstrations. So from here, if you scroll down, you need to select this, remove this workspace, to remove the workspace along with all the fabric items that you have created within this workspace. So now let's go ahead and continue with our lakehouse creation. So on the menu bar on the left hand side over here, you can select plus create to create a new item as it is given in the instruction, or you can select plus new item over here also to create a new item. So let's select the lakehouse. So you can filter it by typing name as lakehouse. Give your lakehouse a name, let's say LH, and select create. That's it. No need to do anything else. Now once your lakehouse is created, so here you can see that your T-SQL endpoint is also created, where you can switch to T-SQL endpoint and you can query your data using the T-SQL language. So let's close this as of now. And here within your Lakehouse Explorer, you can see we have two folders. One is the tables folder, another one is the file folder. So this table folder will contain the data that you can query using the SQL Analytics endpoint. And the tables within this Fabric Lakehouse are based on the open source Delta Lake file format, which is commonly used within the Apache Spark. The files folder contain the data files in the OneLake storage for the Lakehouse that are not associated with the managed data tables, right? And within this file folder, you can even create a new subfolder. You can create a new shortcut as well, and you can sort the folders by name, by date created, or in the ascending or in the descending order, right? So currently there are no tables or files in the Lakehouse, so that's why it is empty for us. So now in order to get data in your Lakehouse, we are going to upload a file as per the lab instructions. So here first you need to download this file from the provided link. So you can open a new browser tab on the right hand side of the existing tab and then type the provided link. Hit enter. Once you get the data, now you need to do right click and select save as to save this page as your CSV file. And notice that the data is getting saved within your downloads folder inside the VM. Click save. So we are done until these steps. Now return to the browser tab containing your Lakehouse. And now within the files folder, create a new subfolder with name data. Now once the subfolder is created, select this folder to upload the file that we have just downloaded. So for that, you can go to this get data option and select upload files. Over here, select this icon and now go to the downloads folder where our file is located and select your sales.csv file. Select upload. Now notice that our file has been uploaded into the data folder. Please make sure that the file is getting uploaded within the data folder, not within the file folder outside the data folder, right? Now once done, you can click on this file. So from here you can simply minimize this Lakehouse Explorer pane to view the file that you have uploaded. So this is the file you have uploaded. And if you click on three dots here, you have several options to download the same file to your system, to rename it, to view the file content, to see the properties. So you can see these are the properties of our file: the size, last modified, path, last synchronized timestamp, the type, lakehouse name, workspace name, and the file name. Similarly, here you can click on view to view the content within the file. So you can see these are the content available within our sales.csv file. Now next is exploring shortcuts. Now in many scenarios, sometimes you need to work with your lakehouse where you are fetching your data from other locations. While there are multiple ways to ingest the data within your lakehouse, like using data flows or using the pipeline, but if in case you don't want to copy the data from that external source into the OneLake, you just want to refer that data set, then in that scenario, you can make use of shortcut. So shortcut enable you to include externally sourced data within your analytic solutions without the overhead and risk of data inconsistency associated with copying it. So how do we create the shortcut? So to create the shortcut, you will go back to your files folder. Let me expand the Explorer pane. So you can simply click on this arrow again to expand it. Click on the three dots in front of the files folder. And here you can select new shortcut. And once you select new shortcut, notice the available options where you can get the data without copying it within the fabric. So as of now, from these available sources, you can create the shortcut for getting the data into the lakehouse for exploration purpose only, like Amazon S3, Blob Storage, ADLS Gen 2, Dataverse, Google Cloud, OneDrive, and SharePoint. Plus your Microsoft OneLake, means within the fabric itself. So we are not going to create any shortcut within the lab. So let's simply close this. Now moving on to the next section within the lab, that is loading file data into a table. Now you have seen how to upload the file into the lakehouse. So here we have uploaded our sales.csv file within the data folder. Now in the fabric you have an automatic table discovery feature option. Now with this automatic table discovery, if you are uploading a file which is already in the structured format, tabular format, then it will be discovered as the delta table automatically. So when it is discovered as a delta table by the Fabric platform, if you click on the three dots in front of the file name, you will notice this load to tables option appearing up. But if in case your file structure doesn't follow the structured standards, then this load to tables will not appear up. For instance, in case of your JSON file, this load to table option will not be there. Same goes for your other unstructured formats like your images, text, etc. So now let's convert this into the delta table format. Select load to table and click new table. From here, if you want, you can change the name of the table. Use header for column names if headers are available. So we have already seen in the preview that the column names are available. So we are going to check mark this option. And the separator is comma separator. Select load. So we are done with these first 3 steps within the lab. Now as per the fourth step, it says that select the table which is created to view the data. So now here notice the notification also at the top in the notification bar that your sales table has been successfully created within this LH Lakehouse. So to view this, let's expand your Lakehouse Explorer once again. So click over here on this icon and notice your sales table has appeared up. And for you, if in case the sales table is not there, then what you can do is that over here at the top you have this refresh option. So either you can refresh your entire Lakehouse, so it is going to refresh the entire metadata, right? And if in case still it's not appearing up on the screen, then you can simply select these 3 dots in front of the tables folder name, and here also you can select refresh. So you will see the table getting listed under the tables folder. Now in the menu of your sales table, so let's select the sales table over here and click on 3 dots. And when you click on 3 dots, you will notice a folder with name view files. So click on the view files to see the underlying files of this table. Means on which files the table has been created by the Fabric. So let's have a look. Click on the view files option. And let's minimize this pane again to see our files. So notice here we have 2 things. One is your Paki file and another one is your delta log folder. So what is this Paki file? So this Paki file is your same data that we uploaded, which is your sales.csv. So when you converted the sales.csv into the delta table, so that CSV file was automatically created into the Paki file. So it was converted into the Paki file automatically. And these Paki files, these are the columnar level files where they automatically store the schema related information, right? And what a delta table is? So delta table is nothing but a Paki file along with your delta log folder. So delta table is a combination of your Paki file plus delta log. So what this delta log folder is? This delta log folder, if you select it, you will notice there is one folder with name comments plus a JSON file. So basically in this delta log folder, you will find the details about the transactions that you have applied to the table. So all of these transactions will be logged in right over here. So here in the JSON file, you will see the schema metadata of your actual file, like the commit info, the timestamp, what operation did you perform, the metadata, ID, schema, whether the V order is enabled or not. So all of these metadata related information will be available within this JSON file. So this is how your delta tables support asset transactions within the Lakehouse, right? So we will go back and expand our Explorer view. So now you have seen that how you can upload the file within your Lakehouse, right? And if you are uploading a structured data, how you can convert that structured file into the delta table format. So now under the hood within the OneLake, So this file is stored within the delta Paki format, sales delta table. And now let's move on to the next set of instructions, that is using the SQL to query the tables. Now, when we created this lakehouse, we noticed a small notification appearing up on the top of our screen that says successfully created SQL Analytics endpoint, which means that we can use this SQL endpoint to query our data. So let me close this, and to switch to the SQL endpoint, simply select this drag and drop option and click SQL Analytics endpoint. So this will switch your Lakehouse Explorer view into the SQL Analytics view, right? Now once your SQL editor it gets opened up, so you can see here we have this option to create a new SQL query, and here you can see there are several folders appearing up, like whatever queries you write to query your data, all of those queries will get bundled up right within this my queries folder automatically, and the queries will be auto saved. You don't have to save them manually. And here this is your schema folder where you'll be able to notice your tables getting created within this DBO schema. So if you expand this DBO schema, and within this DBO schema, notice we have several folders like tables, views, functions, and stored procedures. So let's see what's there inside the tables folder. Now when you expand the tables folder, we should see our sales delta table. So this is your SQL Analytic endpoint. Here you won't be able to notice the files because it will contain only the tables, that is the delta tables. So to query your sales data, so here if you click on three dots in front of your sales table name and select this new SQL query, here you will have option to see the preview of the top 100 rows. So you can select this, select top 100, and it will automatically include the code snippet and will be executed. And notice that this is our output, and this much time it consumed to execute it, that is 4 seconds. Copilot completions are on by default, and you can see that it is having total 9 columns and 100 rows as per the query. Now we can create our own customized query also. So for that, let's go to the top over here under the home tab. You can see here we have this icon with SQL mentioned up. So select this drop down menu and select new SQL query. Now within the SQL query, either you can simply say auto type, but sometimes what happens is when you select this auto type, maybe due to some network issues or something else, it doesn't type it properly. So the best way that I follow is I simply copy it and then I paste it over here like this. And now you can run it. So here you have other options also, like save it as a view, or you can take help of the Copilot to explain the query. So let's click on run. And notice that now as per the query, we are able to see the result where we have grouped our total revenue for each item, and it is sorted by the revenue in the descending order. So from here you can open this in the Excel. You can explore this data if you want, or you can visualize the data as well. And from here you can copy the results also with or without column name. And from here you can search for a particular result. If you want to know that what is the total revenue for a particular product, so you can type the name of that product over here. Like if I say Rode 150 red 56, So notice that our result is getting filtered up as per the product I am mentioning within the search bar. So this is the local search option. Now, apart from the SQL query mentioning it manually over here, we also have something like visual query, where you have the Power Query interface to perform the transformations on the data within the lakehouse. So let's have a look. So to go to that visual query view, just go to the top and select the same icon which you selected earlier to create a new SQL query. And here you have the option to create the new visual query. So select this new visual query over here. And now we need to drag and drop the sales table to see that Power Query interface to perform the transformations on top of it. So let's select the sales table and simply drag and drop it. Let me select the visual query again and drag and drop it within the visual query interface like this. And if in case, let's say you are not able to drag and drop it, then what you can do is, so just click on the three dots appearing up in front of the sales table name, and here select insert to canvas. So if you select insert into canvas, it will automatically drop the table into the canvas without doing it manually. So we are done with these first two steps over here under creating a visual query. Now here, once we are done with this, now next what we are going to do is we are going to perform a simple transformation where instead of keeping 9 columns, I would like to keep only 2 columns. So for that, here I need to go to the manage column section at the top. Just have a look at my cursor. So select this manage columns and select choose columns. And to choose only 2 columns, I will deselect all of the columns and then I will select only these first 2 columns. That's it. And select OK. Notice that once you add this choose column transformation, the step gets added and it's available right within this visual query interface. So you can see that you added this choose column. And at the bottom, you can notice that this is your table view. So here also we have only 2 columns now. Moving to the next instruction, instruction number 4. Now we need to perform the grouping. So we need to get the result of your line items where we are going to identify the count of distinct line items and we are going to group it by this sales order number. So let's do this. So for that, we need to go to the transform option over here at the top. Select this transform and select group by. Now we need to group it by sales order number. Give the column name as line items. Operation that we want to perform is count distinct values. And the column name is auto selected, that is sales order line number, because we had only one column left, right? And now select OK. So we are done till instruction number 4. That's it. So this is how we make use of these simple transformations within the Power Query once you have loaded the data into the Lakehouse using the Visual Query interface to explore the results. So from here you can even visualize the results also, but it will take some time. Now once you are done, then you need to simply delete your workspace, that is clean up the resources, because if in case I don't clean up the resources and I simply end up my lab, then I won't be able to reuse the same workspace with the same name. Okay, because that workspace name must be unique within the Fabric TNet. Alright, so now let's go ahead and delete our workspace. So I will go back to my workspace now and go to the workspace settings. Under the general, select remove this workspace. That's it. Congratulations, you have successfully completed your very first lab where you learned how to create the lakehouse and how to ingest the data into the lakehouse using the simple upload option. In the next lab, you will learn how to ingest the data into the lakehouse using data flows. And in the next third lab, you will learn how to ingest the data using the pipelines. So that's it. Thank you. Now it's your turn to perform the lab.